Hello, everybody. This is Bagheera Games, and this is my critical analysis of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the good out the way first. I really like the different outfits that Link has throughout the game. I'm big into customization and the way that the different outfits essentially allow you to, like, swim faster, climb up wet surfaces, heat resistance, lightning resistance, so on and so forth. Different outfits for different situations. That was real good. uh the Zonai builds, everybody was building crazy things with the Zonai builds. They was building tanks, airplanes, bombers. Getting the battery to run those Zonai builds is difficult to attain, but we gonna get into that later. Uh, the cooking aspect. I kind of like that too. You kind of grab the materials that you need to cook. Kill some animals. You can get their meat, harvest up some leaves so you can have some buffs during combat. Weather resistances, and also refill a huge chunk of your health bar. Um, Now let's get into the bad, but before we get into the bad, I'm gonna go on a little tangent here about some funny things, leading up to and during the whole fiasco of Tears of the Kingdom. When the game first came out, you could not criticize the game at all. It was like Elden Ring fans. It's like, if you said you didn't like Elden Ring, they'd be like, oh man, get good. You got those people in the community that feed off of hype, that live off of hype. Their Twitter posts always and forever gotta be, calling out somebody for their lack of skill, instead of showing you how to beat a certain boss or showing you how to get a piece of equipment. They just say get better at the game, which is not constructive at all. I know you can probably name 5 YouTubers that do that, but go ahead and put their name down in the comment section, and yeah, call them out. And also too, if you didn't like the first Breath of the Wild, you wouldn't like Tears of the Kingdom, because it's basically the same thing. One of the main gripes that I got about Tears of the Kingdom is breakable weapons. I I grew up playing Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. So like, I enjoyed the aspect of those games to where Skyrim had infinite durability, which was great. You know, but when you played Oblivion and you use a weapon a lot, you could like go to the blacksmith, get it repaired, or get like a repair toolkit and repair it. That's fine. The same thing with like Monster Hunter. When your weapon gets dull, you sharpen it up. That's fine. But in Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, there's none of that. When your weapon breaks, it's gone, and that severely limits the way that you play the game. I remember, my first few hours playing Tears of the Kingdom, I did not engage in combat at all because I didn't want my weapons to break. Only when I wanted, only when it was a absolute necessary to engage in combat, I would go ahead and use my weapons and my arrows and stuff, because early game things are mad hard to come by. First tutorial island is real simple, real easy. The enemies can get beat down by tree branches and little weapons that you pick up. But from then on out, it's the for fighting some of the monsters. They take like 10, 12 hits to take one guy out, and it's like, all right, it's not even worth it. It's easier just to like sneak past people, sneak past the creatures to get where you want to go. Getting bombs, getting arrows. You have to like they're hard to get. You gotta scavenge. If you compare to something like Skyrim, which I heard in interviews that uh Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom was like based off of. It's not. I never had a point in Skyrim to where I ran out of arrows, or like I ran out of anything really, run out of gold, because everywhere you go, somebody has some arrows on them. It was easy to find. They might not be like, ebony arrows or glass arrows, Daedric arrows, but they were some type of arrows that you could get, and you can get like little sneak attacks off. Uh, I'm probably out in my own play style here by talking about sneaking a lot, getting in the enemy camps undercover, stuff like that. That's usually how I prefer to play. And then if I get like spotted, then I'll go rambo on the facility or camp or whatever. Uh, some of the things like the quark seeds. I think the quark seeds were like too tedious. It's I saw the quark seed map and I was like, good googly moogly. You know, they're all over the place. They require little puzzles to solve. But you go to the Maraca guy and you say, oh yeah, I want to upgrade my bows or I want to upgrade my swords. What you need the most, bows and swords. And then he says, oh yeah, I need one quark seed. All right, I need like 4 quark seeds. All right, I need 15 quark seeds. And it's like, doggone, are you serious? You keep on jacking up the price, and it's like something essential that you need. Definitely the early parts of the game to where you only got 1 stamina wheel and 3 hearts. You're going to get murked quick and you're going to get tired, very easily. So the start of the game is very, very tedious and very difficult. I can see the beginning. It turns off a lot of people from actually playing the game because you're you're just not having fun. Now what you can and can't do, because you have to complete the shrines first, which is what I did. I didn't have a lot of a lot of stamina, a lot of heart, so I figured, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tackle all the shrines and then get leveled up. But you know there are every 4 shrines that you complete is equal to 1 upgrade, which is very tedious. You're going to hear such as gathering up a lot of materials just to advance the story, or having a lot of ridiculous other things to do before I can actually get to the main part. It's ridiculous because when you start going into the first temple, the wind temple, you have to like get up 500 rupees to get this armor piece that is cold resistance, because the cold resistant boots that you get at the start is not going to be enough when you get to those higher levels, up in the sky where the main boat is. You have to get your cold weather gear out and then have enough arrows and swords before you can even attempt to complete the wind temple. And the boss, you have to have at least like a level 15 damage bow before you could do some real damage on the boss. So from the time you get off the main Sky Island on down, it's like everything is up to you. You know, everything is like it's almost just like a survival sim just about. And I don't think that's good gameplay design. That's not fair, and that's not like the only thing that you have to definitely upgrade your armor. You know, right? But it's a whole intricate quest to upgrade your armor. You have to awaken the great fairies within the round of region, and you have to do this whole rigmarole to where you have to get, you know, this band together. You gotta get the band together, find each members of the band, you know, convince them to join the maestro because the maestro wasn't paying them whatever. You know, the maestro was holding the check. You know, he was complaining about it was, COVID-19 or whatever, and he couldn't pay his employees, so they left, rightfully so. And then he begging for them back because the pandemic over with, and he don't got no band members to play because he fired them all because of his convenience. You know, so and then when you actually get to the upgrades, to the Great Fairy upgrades, she requires a lot of expensive materials. A lot of expensive materials. It is insane. The first one is free essentially, a couple of bokoblin horns, some fruits, some berries or whatever. But when it gets to the higher tiers, you're talking about whole meteorites, little stars that fall down, talking about Gleeok's horns, all rubies and diamonds, which you could sell to get rupees, to get other armor, but you have to have it as a material to upgrade it. And that's just, absolutely insane. When you start getting into level 4, level 3 armor, it gets mad expensive. And the animation that plays when you upgrading your armor is again, tedious and unnecessary. But about time you skip it, it's already over. So, I just want something to where the first few times it's all right, it's funny, ha ha, Link is sleeping with the great fairies, but when you're trying to get stuff done, all this, show and dance, we've seen it before. The same thing with Maraca guy, it just all right. The little dance was funny first 5 times. Now we done seen it. It's unnecessary. You don't need to see it no more. Go ahead and auto skip it. Be like, all right, I added it to your inventory. There you go. Or, oh yeah, upgrade your armor. Here you go. A lot of tedious stuff. Too much tedium. I can see. I know a lot of people that quit Tears of the Kingdom. They was like, man, I heard, that game is good, yeah, but I just don't feel like playing it no more. It's just too much work. And I said, yeah, you're right. In between you trying to get capsules for your Zonai builds, trying to get crystallized charges to extend your Zonai battery, to use your Zonai builds, going up into the depths, trying to unlock the light sources so you could farm Zonite from the different enemy camps, try to get gloom resistant food. It's just a layer and a layer and a layer, and it seems it just doesn't end. The story is paper thin. Obviously, it's the old Zelda formula where Ganon, comes back yet again. Like I remember seeing a video a long time ago to where I think when Link first fought Ganondorf actually put a curse on himself to where he always get resurrected or come back in some type of form. But I guess the same thing with Link and Zelda, because they always appear in the same games, fighting just about the same enemies, so on and so forth. There's a lot of variation in the different Zelda games, but the story remains the same. Kind of like with Mario, is most of the time saving the princess and defeating Bowser for the 50th time. I'm a 100% die-hard Sonic fan. You know, I eat it up. I play the Sonic games, watch the Sonic shows, you know, from time to time, draw Sonic characters. I'm a huge Sonic fan, and then I kind of get tired when he fights, essentially Eggman over and over again. It's kind of like, oh yeah, go ahead and finish him since he's a whole menace. But I just one main villain, and I notice in Western storytelling, it's like once that one main villain is down, he is down. Like, he got killed in action. It ain't no, oh man, he coming back. It's like if he came back, that means you forgot something. Any other time, in Western media, once somebody, once the big villain is down, he is like down. It's the next guy that tried to do something that you got to contend with, and I kind of like that in the progression of the story in storytelling. Kind of like what they did with Dragon Ball Z. Is like they actually took out their villains. Most anime is good with that, but I guess it's in the video games where like you got Mega Man with Dr. Wily. He's always he's always fighting Dr. Wily. Mario, he changed it up a bit to where it's Bowser. I don't see him fighting Donkey Kong in a while. It's always like the same lead, and it's like at that point it's like, why would you even care about the story? I like storytelling. I like having stories a big part of the motivation of the game. But when you have it paper thin, I just walk out. Like, I just don't want to. How am I motivated? I'm motivated by playing the game, but I'm not motivated in the story because the good guy, let him go again, and that's not really reflective of real life. I will admit, in some Kirby games, the he takes out most of his villains. Definitely in Kirby games, if a new Kirby game come out, by the end of the game, the villain is down and he is out. It's the next villain that he got to contend with, which is refreshing to see. It'd be crazy if like Bowser, he was just taken out and he was just gone for like 5 games, and he has to contend with other threats. That'd be just mind blowing. Or Zelda, like just he got the Ultra Master Sword and then just cuts Ganon, removes his heart from his body, and like his Kingdom Hearts, and then Ganon, he just gone. Like there's somebody else trying to take out Hyrule Kingdom. That's my little side rant about what I like to see in stories. But back to Tears of the Kingdom. I know this funny story where this guy was abandoning his own son trying to finish Tears of the Kingdom. I said, man, you gotta let it go. It's like crazy. Like, so what happened was this guy, he was playing Tears of the Kingdom on live stream, and his wife was talking about how he needed to get the baby. It was his turn, and then he got mad and threw the controller at her face, gave her a black eye, and I was like, doggone man, these Zelda fans, they really hard up to play this game. I mean, that's unreasonable. People taking whole 2 years trying to finish Breath of the Wild. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. At a certain point, I'm looking for some cheats or something to just to finish the game, just get it out my head. I just throw it to the wayside. I'm done with you at that point. And I think the burnout comes from always from the tedium, from the Korok seeds to getting the materials to upgrading your armor. Just to play the game, you got to get bombs, arrows, and swords, and that's not really fun. I think in Tears of the Kingdom, it's very there's no real combat. I gotta say, you just do that slow motion backflip thing, and that's it. you know that's the combat of the game. It's not really deep. It's just when the Bogoblin drops his guard, you strike. My favorite thing to do was attach Dazzle Fruit to the end of your arrow, use it like a flash bang, and then you start shooting bombs. You start blowing them up, and then that was 90% of the combat in the game for me. The same with some of the boss fights, like the Hinox, you know, the dragon thing, whatever, the three-headed dragons. I would go ahead and use a Kula Eye, shoot it, automatically get a critical hit, let it fall down, and just hit it in the head with my strongest sword. The Lionels, I avoided them because the materials you spend fighting a Lionel does not equate to what you get out of it. You might get you get a horn, a sword, and some guts, some hood that you can sell, but actively doing damage to him, you probably break 2 or 3 swords trying to take down the Lionel in the first place, and he just does so much damage. If your armor is not upgraded when you're fighting a Lionel, or you have a weak shield, or you have low hearts, he takes you out in like 1 or 2 hits. You have to have your first roll of hearts just to tackle a Lionel on a regular, because you're going to make mistakes in combat. That's everybody. I think the water temple was the lamest of the temples, because you had to do so much other stuff just to get up there. I'm not going to spoil anything in this video. You could probably look it up on YouTube yourself, see how that went down. And then some of the little side stories to where Sidion and his wife, or his fiance or whatever, that was it was kind of lame. I have a feeling that his fiance was like a throw-in character, because she didn't really contribute to the main story at all. It's kind of like Tulin's parents. Like, Tulin's parents were just in the background. It's like, Tulin's dad gave him his bow, and that was it. The same thing with the fiance. Now, I have heard rumors that there was some Tumblr ship stuff going on, some type of Tumblr, fantasy, but like, hey, that's everybody. Like, come on, like, I don't get what the problem is. It's just drawings. It's just people writing fanfic. If somebody is drawing the characters that you made, right? First of all, but before to get into any of that, these characters are product. First and foremost, these characters are product. First and foremost, these Nintendo characters that exist are product, because what? They want to sell you not only the game, they want to sell you the Master Sword, the Highland Shield. They want to sell you the T-shirts, the special edition Switch, the amiibo statues, They want that single character to have a lot of product behind it because the character in itself is a product. So you can gauge how people enjoy your product based on fan creations. That's just it. Like if I was able to make a game, make a character, right? And then they say, "Oh man, there's a lot of drawings of the character on the internet. There's a lot of ships and there's of the character on the internet." I'd be like, "Good, it's making an impact on somebody. Somebody is actually taking the time out of their day to draw this character, you know, whatever." That means I'm getting engagement. What you don't want to have is non-engagement. If they look at your game and they say, "All right, yeah, that's whatever, lame," and then they don't engage with it in a fan-like manner, it's just you failed. That's just it. Like I don't know what to say to you, and you definitely have to have beautiful characters because that's what people like seeing. Um, that's how you actually get your product out there because nobody's gonna have and like a ugly Samus or a ugly Princess Peach, you know, so on and so forth. They're gonna make them look as beautiful as possible, kind of like the Final Fantasy VII remake game. All those characters are like cut. They could all of them could be like models. You can definitely tell like Aerith, Barrett, Cloud, Tifa. Those characters are the main characters because they look gorgeous. The other NPC characters are like halfway. You can see it in their faces when you play the game. It's crazy, but that's my little rant. Uh, Overall, I would rate Tears of the Kingdom a. Let's see. I would give it a 6.8 out of 10 because of the tedium that it has. I feel like my time is being wasted when I play the game. I mean, I got to be honest. It's just imagine you playing a first person shooter and you actually have to craft the bullets before you go out in a battle. Like that's crazy. Now with Tears of the Kingdom, you can't steal from the shop owners. That's wild to me. Like if you want to be like immersive, you gotta be able to like negotiate, barter, steal to get ahead in the game. And Tears of the Kingdom kind of discourages that type of manipulation. Matter of fact, they released a patch that did not allow you to duplicate items, and people were upset, rightfully so, because it made the game even harder or even more tedious to complete. Now I know a lot of YouTubers out here that did not beat the game. I can tell by their gameplay. I can tell by the way they talk about it. They did not beat the game, which I can understand the mentality because essentially it's your job, right? You trying to make the most money, so you could ride the hype train for a little bit, hype up Tears of the Kingdom, get a little gameplay out there, do one or two streams and drop it, and nobody cares. Forget integrity. They just trying to get the money. It's a sentiment that is carried forward a lot in our society. But like I said, I can't fault them for that. Like I said, I give Tears of the Kingdom a 6.5 out of 10. If they were to do a Tears of the Kingdoms 3, I would reduce the amount of materials needed for crafting. First of all, I would allow you to steal rupees from shopkeepers. I would allow you to basically every enemy drops arrows or drops useful materials to continue your journey. It's all about the momentum. I hate it when you're playing a game and your momentum is interrupted because you can't purchase this, you can't steal this, you can't buy this. You have to go the long way of getting the materials from the environment and then coming back and then doing a little short segment and then going back out there again and continuously trying to play the game. That's not fun. That's not. I don't think that's how you do open world games. Especially you should be able to have like a little container that refreshes your arrows and base materials so that you continue to play the game, keep players engaged with it. Cause I know unless you a die-hard fan, like I said, of Zelda, of Breath of the Wild, is not going to hold you. So that's why I gave it a 6 out of 10. Like, now that the fan hype has died down, now that people, got their eyes open, people doing lore videos to why. I saw this other lore video to where they said the Master Sword is supposed to kill Ganondorf when he has all three pieces of the Triforce, but yet the Zonai Stone is apparently more powerful than the Triforce, which they don't even care about their own lore. The same thing with like Sheikah technology. All that Sheikah technology is just gone. The Sheikah slate gone, and replace of it is your Zonai equipment, Zonai abilities, so on and so forth. So that has been my critical analysis in quotations of Tears of the Kingdom. Gira Games out.